Could you be my dad?
Yes.
I've never understood causality and the arrow of time, but my main question is there any way that you can be my dad?
I'm sure somewhere out
Not
there.
could be, but can be.
I'm sure somewhere out there there's an answer.
Are you my dad? Does anybody remember that? You remember that? Anybody?
No.
Are you my dad? Okay. Well, never mind.
Let's get.
Someone.
It's gonna make a great intro to the podcast, though. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the PogCast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, video games, with a heavy focus on the first-person shooter Escape from Tarkov. I am Jessekazam, one of your co-hosts, a YouTuber, Twitch content creator, all that stuff.
And I'm Veritas, and I am not mad. I'm just disappointed.
At what?
For our first topic.
Oh, yeah. That's a great. Okay, so I don't know. That's a great segue right in. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. So this is how I experienced that. Okay, I was able to snag like an hour today alone to like do some editing, work on some stuff. And right before I sat down, I checked Twitter and I saw a tweet from Battlestate Games saying we banned 400 RMT like buyers and sellers. And it was like, we know who you are, we know how you do what you do, and we're coming and we're gonna win. And I checked that. I was like, dope. I retweeted it. I sat down to start editing and I pulled Anton up on my other monitor. And like 10 minutes later, I look over and chat's flying and he's trying to figure out what happened. And it turns out our boy Anton got lumped in the group of people banned for RMT. I don't know if you know more, if maybe you DM'd him or something or whatever, but
I don't know. So all I heard was I was playing and naturally somebody in chat had to like check W, Anton banned. So I'm like, and then someone else like a minute later or 2 minutes later said it too. And it was like,
Yep.
So I nonchalantly went on my other monitor and like pulled up the stream and saw chat freaking out. So I knew, I'm like, oh shit, this wasn't just like a joke or whatever.
Yep.
So I know very little about the situation, other than he pulled up on his stream the email that he got from BSG, because he got like some error code, this profile has been banned. He pulled up the email and the email said, honestly, I really need to, I think I recorded it. I'd have to pull it up. But it said something along the lines of like, the reason it's permanent and the reason is, and it was like 2 paragraphs that were, they listed a whole bunch of things. It was like in the same realm as like botting, running software that manipulates the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like it everybody was saying RMT, and the timing was perfect because tweet. Right when that happened, I pulled up BSG's thing and I saw the only reason why it popped up in my feed was I saw your like thumbs up to their thing. I'm like, oh shit, that was 30 minutes ago. So it seemed kind of like interesting timing. So again, there was also that, and then he killed like a couple minutes before he killed a dude who was like level 16 who had like a thermal
SR25, and that was he was just kind of trying to figure it out, and he was like, maybe they were watching that guy and then they were watching the loot he had or something. I mean, who knows? But he was trying to basically give BSG the benefit of the doubt. He was memeing on it, but he wasn't trying to be mad. He was like, oh, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. I don't know how much, what I mean, meaning any of that has, but it's hard to, it's just interesting.
So there's a million red flags, and I want to try and point out as many as I can, because I'm really kind of disappointed and frustrated because all of these questions I have, there's no good sufficient answers for. let's just take a few, and I'm sure I'm going to forget some, but I've got like 9 in my head that I really want to like get to.
Yeah.
One of them is, okay, I also forgot to say that he was also unbanned shortly after. I think Clean got in contact with Nikita. It doesn't matter. I mean, any of us can get in contact with Nikita
and would
pretty
have,
quickly. So I'm sure everybody just went into Clean's chat and instantly like spammed Clean. So Clean is probably like, I'll handle it.
Somehow this is your fault, Clean.
Yeah. So a few different things. One, we have to kind of figure out what universe we're in, right? There's a universe where he was banned for either cheating or RMT, and he did the thing that he was banned for.
Yeah.
I personally don't think this is the universe we live in.
Yeah.
I think everybody's innocent until proven guilty, or should be, at least in like the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
But in that world, he was rightfully banned, which is good, and then wrongfully unbanned because of streamer privilege or whatever, right? So that's
one universe
world. I think that's the least likely one.
Yeah.
But still, if he was cheating, which again I doubt he was, then I wouldn't want any streamers to be able to get away with anything, whether they were me or my friends or some rando I've never heard of, right?
Yeah.
So then there's the universe in which he was banned for some sort of bot script software on his computer, and it was potentially either detected by either BattleEye.
Yeah.
I mean, I think BattleEye would have been the only way it would have been detected.
Yeah.
Then this would be a perfect example where I think there's rumors that like you can contact BattleEye and get it reviewed, and who the fuck knows if that's like an endless loophole, endless sea of paperwork and emails, and it'll never work. I have no idea, but I see that as a non-starter.
Yeah.
But that could be a case in which if he had something on his computer that was like a cheat or whatever, then maybe he was rightfully banned, and which again would mean that it kind of sucks if he, someone, and I'm going to say none of this actually has to do with Anton.
Yeah.
Let's just say this is any content creator. Me, you, Clean, Pestily, Anton.
Yeah.
Streamer with 3 viewers, streamer with 300,000 viewers. It doesn't matter to me. It's to me, it's all the same.
Yeah.
So then there's the universe where he got banned because he received items in game by killing a normal player who had an RMT item that was flagged. That is a really fucking big red flag, because that means that anybody who killed somebody who had any of those items, which is like, if you're going to get an item from RMT, you're presumably going to use it, and somebody's going to kill you. Now, what that means is that essentially anybody could get flagged, right? Banned.
Which is why I think that was more of him trying to like show his chat that he was like trying to give BSG the benefit of the doubt, like because I agree. I think I don't see how that could be a usable way to detect RMT, is just to follow the loot around, because because RMT is different than cheats, right? Like a guy who just buys a bunch of rubles and is terrible at the game is gonna lose all that gear, and it's gonna just permeate the game so easily.
Yeah, and if the trades are done in raid, at any point you could kill somebody and grab in the middle of a transaction. So like I fucking hope that that's not a method by which they determine someone is RMT.
Yeah.
But then now if that's the case, then first of all, I'm sure there's tons of people who like, it calls into question every single ban. Every single ban it calls into question. Unfortunately, I'm sure there's probably tons of legit ones. But it's like, I don't feel good about, we banned 300 or 400 people. Okay, great. We know one of them, assuming that he's not guilty.
Yeah.
We know one of them is innocent. Honestly, I feel like all of them should be unbanned. should relook at the criteria.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you're just Joe Schmo and you don't get a chance to contact Nikita?
Yeah.
You're fucked and you're out the money you spent on the game and you didn't do anything wrong. So, which really sucks for other people, because I'm sure it's a big black hole where you send, emails and they just don't get back to you and they ignore you and they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
There's no recourse other than buy the game again, and maybe you get flagged and banned, right? You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a rough look, no matter how you slice it. You know what I mean? Like, because like we were saying, the most likely scenarios are that, like, assuming that we all kind of like believe in Anton's like integrity, which I do, I know you do. Like, I think 99% of the community would just not think he was cheating and believe that. It either means it was on the BSG end of some sort of manual review, some sort of disconnect, like you were saying, like we talk about all the time, where like people who develop the game don't play the game. Like, if that manual review, if it was, let's say, came by Nikita's desk, he would immediately just like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? No way. Like, watch it and be like, this is easily explainable. So it's either like a BSG end or it's a Battle Eye end, and neither of those things feel good. You know what I mean?
No, and I really hope there's no manual. Like, there's very little criteria that I would accept if you were just looking at like a profile.
Yeah.
I would need to, in order for me to like theory craft the kinds of things I would need to see in order to think someone was cheating. I would need to like see what kind of data that they're looking at.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I trust any person or people to be able to, without error, manually say someone is cheating, unless, I mean, I can think of a few examples.
Yeah.
They're crazy examples, right? Like, if you saw that someone had 800,000 kills, all headshots, he's never missed, never died, and his stash is just full of stacks of dollars, right?
Yeah. Of course.
That's like not physically possible, right? But that's like,
the manuals,
there's a spectrum. I don't know where along the line the spectrum is between reasonable and unreasonable, but I just don't trust anybody to report something, read a report, watch gameplay, videos, or any of that stuff. Like the same thing we talked about with Tweak.
Which we don't know. We don't know if that's what they do, right? Like, I don't know, and that's the thing. So I don't want anything to come across like, because we can confidently say, well, I agree with you. Like, I don't know if I would trust any like people to do that, but I don't want that to come across as though that we know that that's how it's done. And that's part of it, is like, we really don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
they said that they've done manual bans before. Yeah,
and that they review, but like we were talking about last week with like RMT, like we used the example, like pull up the net worth of every player. You know what I mean? And then that line of like brand new, average players, veterans, streamers, and then the 7 people at the end with 600 billion. You know what I mean? Like, and even when we were talking about it in that way, we were like, I like, you could pull up the clip from last week. You said I wouldn't ban them right away. I'd watch them for a week. I'd just pull up those 7 accounts and watch them for a week. So for all we know, that's how the manual side of things are done, is that when stuff is submitted or whatever, that they are watching more of those accounts on the back end with all sorts of information that we don't know. But it's just not a good look. Like, I mean, you brought up a great point that like it could have been completely unrelated to the RMT thing, and it almost looks like it was, because in that email that he got, that he read off, it didn't say anything about RMT. It was almost like calling up like laws. It was like, you broke, it was like 4.3.2. It's like, go read the EULA and find that rule.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to do that.
And you broke that one. And so it was, so it didn't sound, the email didn't sound like it was part of the RMT thing, and it was just crazy timing. But the moral of the story is, like you were saying, no matter how you slice it, it's not a good look, because we're pretty confident he wasn't cheating. And we don't want that to happen more often, because if you don't have thousands of people to vouch for you, like a streamer with several thousand viewers does, and you're just, like you were saying, Joe Schmo who just upgraded to EOD, and now your only option is to buy the game again, or post on Reddit and probably get downvoted to oblivion because we assume you were cheating and you're now trying to claim that you weren't. It's just hard. It's a hard spot.
All right, I pulled it up.
Okay.
I've got the part of the VOD. So, okay, first of all, the rule was validated 434. So 434. Of course, it's the one with 900 bullet points. Under no circumstances to perform the following actions, either in part or full: derivative works, copyright or reproducing, deciphering, source code, retrieval, amendment, decomposition, decompilation, or creation of derivative works, based on, or so that's like making a copy of the game in some way. Fraud, use of fraud, use, offer, advertisement, provision, and or distribution of the following actions or complicity therein. Ways to override methods of affecting the course of game, simplify it, giving them advantages, automated access to the game, basically bots, computer hacking, any code or software not expressly permitted by Battlestate games.
So it's just kind of one of those all-encompassing.
I mean, like, they're quoting this.
Yeah.
Transfer attempts to sell any versions of the game, sublicenses provide them for temporary use, unauthorized connection, use of program deficits, data retrieval, cyber. None of this has to do with RMT. Like, it sounds like software
manipulation cheating.
And then they're due to the following actions. So then they have like a sub part of this where use or complicity in such actions, circumvention tools, methods that affect the course of the game, automation or access to the game, bots. So they're going to have to fucking explain.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to do a real good job, I think, if they're going to want like any sort of good faith from the community.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to explain, and it's going to have to be Nikita, why they were banned and essentially why it couldn't possibly happen to anybody else.
Or the steps they're taking to, you know what I mean? Like, you know, once again, given the benefit of the doubt that this will ultimately show them, you know what I mean, that X is broken in their BattleEye string or whatever, complicated. But you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a reason, an explanation, and a commitment to do better moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for anybody if they exist. I'm sure I'm willing to bet that the number's non-zero.
Yeah.
Of people who have been wrongfully is the word, banned for whatever reason. I bet you it's probably non-zero, and like, please don't fucking come and beg for me to, you know, like, talk to Nikita, because I can't, and B, I don't want to, because unfortunately the situation that we're all in is there's no fucking difference between somebody who's just straight up lying and somebody who's innocent. There's no way that you can prove your innocence, especially because they don't really tell you exactly why. It's not like they give you a clip. It's not like they give you a date and a time. It's not like anything. The same thing happened with Tweak. I don't think we know why Tweak was banned. I thought that it was, and it seems most reasonable that it was the forum post by two people who had the video of him like teleporting, because anybody, like any normal person, would look at that and say like, yep, that's a cheater. He's just fucking, he just fucking zoomed around. But only a streamer, like, I even said this before, and it applies to Anton, like, thank God that it was a cheater that this happened. Sorry, it was a streamer that this happened to, because otherwise this is the only evidence that we'll ever have that people can possibly get wrongfully banned. So the people who are wrongfully banned, they shouldn't be butthurt at Anton or butthurt at Tweak. Because these things happening to them are the best fucking chances they'll ever have of, you know, seeing the light of day again in Tarkov. So it's just fucking sad, man.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's like seeing mommy and daddy fighting at the dinner table, and
you just don't know what to do.
I mean, you know that you're like daddy hit mommy, and you know what, he you know, he did the wrong thing and he was an asshole, and you just kind of want to see him do right.
But we'll see. I mean, this was, you know, only a few hours old as of now. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on the BSG end, but hopefully he'll say something. I know. I mean, Anton seems pretty chill about it, but it does, you know, paint a broader story for the community and the anti-cheat, and I mean, we know it's just something that they're fighting with all the time, you know what I mean, that they're investing a whole lot more resources in than they wanted to originally. So it's you know, it's pretty undeniably a bad look and something that needs explanation. But like most of the other things that I found out, there's just so much more to it that I know, that I just hope the only thing, like you were saying, that really makes it right moving forward is some sort of like statement from Nikita, just saying like, hey, this is exactly what happened. Because other than that, nobody knows.
The thing is that there's nothing he can say. Honestly, I don't think that there's anything he can say that will make it reasonable.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything?
I mean,
maybe it was an accident.
Yeah.
Maybe someone missed. But even then, if it happens to anybody other than Anton or me or Pest or Clean, then nothing happens, right? So.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I can't think of a way.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, I mean, like I agree with what you're saying, that there's nothing that makes that situation like okay, but I just, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess if I look at like all of video games, if I look at PUBG, if I look at Warzone, if I look at Fortnite, if I look at all these things, and if I assume that in the history of all those games, not one singular person has been wrongfully banned, then I look at this as like a mega disappointment, like an unreal, like, I can't trust you moving forward. But if I assume that in video game history, anti-cheats have caught the wrong person before, and that makes anti-cheats better, then that's what I'm looking for from Nikita, is that like, there's no excuse. You know, this tells a really rough story and we don't want this to happen to big streamers or random people, but it exposed this flaw and we're working to fix that. Because that's my thing.
Yeah, and then, they have to then say, okay, but we're going to unban everybody because we don't know who was caught in the net. The net's going to filter out some people. So it's like, everybody's going to get unbanned. That includes some bad people, but we'll get better and we'll have to catch them next time. Yeah. You know, I mean,
I don't know. Would you expect that from Fortnite or Warzone?
No. So that's the thing, is that like, it again, this depends on how and why and what.
Yeah.
If it comes to RMT, I'm guaranteed Battle I had nothing to do with anything having to do with RMT. RMT is almost definitely their own personal heuristics to try to figure stuff out.
I agree.
If it was Battle I, software like Battle I, it's looking to see if there are other entities on your computer manipulating parts of memory and doing shit.
Yeah.
Those are things that like, there are not very many valid reasons to have anything, unless you're like a developer of like anti-cheats or cheats yourself, or you cheat on another game and have something installed that has something to do with Tarkov. Maybe you don't cheat on Tarkov, but like, those are the only things that I'd be willing to bet you that this had nothing to do with Battle I. It was either a manual ban, or it was something like they wrote a script that says, return us X, you know, loop through all the profiles and do something with it to figure out if they have any of these items.
We're looking for X
or whatever.
Give me all the accounts that have X, and then
maybe it was naive because he got X after the fact, right? Like, so
or
again,
whoever was running that just received the list and clicked ban and didn't really do any research after that. You know what I mean? So, but
that's not a
No, that's not a good thing. I'm just saying
we'll just have to see.
Yeah. It's rough.
I'm not. This is not a hill I'm going to die on. I can't. I can't defend BSG on this one. This is their hole to dig themselves out of again, like the tweak thing. So
for sure. And so we'll see over the next few days. Like we said, it's only a few hours old. I would really hope and expect something from them soon. So be on the lookout. But we have had quite a few changes to the game over the past few days. Like, it feels like every other day there's like a tweet with like 5 or 6 things happening to the game. So we can kind of like bullet point through some of these smaller ones. The backpack stacking thing happened almost a week ago now. That, to me, has brought more confusion than anything else, because it's not all backpacks, it's certain backpacks, and I've
You can't have duplicates of the same.
yeah, but only of certain backpacks. It's bigger than, it's like beta 2.
You can't have like two scav backpacks?
Yes. And I was literally explaining it to chat. I was like, yeah, you can't do this like this. I had a scav backpack and I was looting a scav, and I put a scav backpack in my scav backpack, and I audibly, I was like, wait, what? And then I was watching
and above. Okay.
I was watching somebody else, and so the information, the concrete information is out there. I've read that it's exactly like certain backpacks and above, and you can't have more than one. And it says that, they kind of made it sound like it was in raid only. But if you are in your stash and you try to, like, you know what I mean? Some people put their whole stack of backpacks on their character and then pull, that remaining. You can't do that anymore. If you have more than one attack 2, you have to make room in your stash to put the other attack 2, to then put the attack 2 on, to then pull your stack of attack 2s back down in your thing. And so it's weird. We've had it for like a week now, and it has affected me more out of raid than in raid, because personally I was one of those people that I don't really like when I'm looting having to like double click and then put it in my TV rig. I'll normally,
because you can't like control click,
I'll normally just stitch my bag anyway, or maybe I'll do the beta in the attack 2 for the extra space. So it's weirdly affected me more in my stash than in the raid, which was kind of where they made it sound like it wasn't going to affect me. But I get it. I mean, it's not that big of an inconvenience, and I believe that it's related to, if you can infinitely stack beta 2s, creating a line of space so these guys can go in with a ton of inventory space and do a bunch of stuff. But that's not,
in my opinion, there's a couple different ways that they could have gone about it. I've only noticed it one time when I went to go, and partially because I don't have that many backpacks right now, but it's not that big of a deal.
No,
I don't think this is one of those things that everybody should be freaking out about as much as they were at the time. It's so
weirded me out. It weirded me out how mad people were.
They're still mad about the fucking thick case thing, and they just people like to torches and pitchforks and whatever.
It's true.
So there's that, but then the part of it, honestly, what they should do, and this will fix the infinite backpack stacking, is just make every backpack, they should all be smaller by one row than they internally than they are externally, rather than the opposite. Problem solved. Because then you can't put a backpack inside of the backpack.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Like, even if they made all the backpacks one thing bigger
externally and then left the size internally,
except for the beta, I mean, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. Or make it so that if you put a backpack in another backpack, that, like, I mean, we're talking about like folding shit, like, because technically you could stack a shit ton of backpacks inside of each other. You just with the thing is that you'd be rolling the backpack up so that nothing could fit in it, So
and it would take up space in the original backpack, so there would be less actual things you could put.
Yeah. So I mean, if every backpack was one row smaller, and when it was put inside of another backpack, it like shrunk internally or something. Yeah. I mean, that would be, I'm sure, a pain in the ass to code and stuff, because
the other solution seems so like simply elegant to me. Is like, if you just made every backpack right now externally one line bigger, and then left the internal.
Just say it's the thickness of the outside.
Yeah, you couldn't stack backpacks anymore, and we don't have to go, these ones get folded by this much, and we don't have to get that weird feeling of like, because in the immersion, if something just doesn't fit, right? If you've got 6 cells left and you want to add a gun in there that's 8 cells, you're not like frickin' RMT. You're just like, it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? So, but right now, if I'm in a raid and I'm just like, this obviously fits, it's just not letting me do it, then I'm like, But if it just didn't fit, it just didn't fit. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be okay with that.
think about it too. If you put a backpack inside of another backpack, like losing that one row is like the equivalent of that backpack taking up one row
Yeah.
and still having all the space left in the original one. It's just kind of inverted,
Yeah.
but it's ultimately is the same sort of behavior. And honestly, I'm fairly certain that they could do that by changing a single number.
Yeah.
In all of because all of the containers they have in their the JSON, the language that specifies all of the properties about them, what their name is, their ID, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a slots width height kind of thing. It defines the
Gotcha.
shape of it. All they would need to do is just, there's not that many backpacks. I could do it in 5 minutes manually with like someone could go in and do it. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. Related to that though, because that seemed to be very linked to the RMT because they're trying to avoid the infinite space. Linked to that, I jumped it down to the bottom of the list, but because it's the only one that seems super related to RMT, they've increased the amount that you can carry of a bunch of items, but I think that like it's all basically irrelevant to a normal player. Like you can't carry more than 7 GP coins, any more than 2 Sturman keys, and then almost every streamer item, it's almost every one single cell streamer item, you can't carry more than like 3 or 4 of. I'm assuming that they're single slot items that sell a lot to the vendor, like therapists will buy them.
Streamer items aren't like that though. Not many of them.
I mean, some of them. Well,
now that I've got the fucking per slot thing, I have the list of the per slot trader values. I mean, I could get a list of what the highest per slot values were sold to traders. I'm pretty sure most of them are going to be keys, key cards.
Well, and they did some of the keys. There was like some reserve keys, and then Sturman key, and then a bunch of the. But at the end of the day, it's just like cool to throw that information out there. I've never had 6 Sheriff Eli badges on me that I'm like, oh god, like I'm not gonna be able to do that anymore. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really affect.
So there is an interesting use case that I just thought of that this also kind of goes to like the manual detection of cheaters based on their account. Like imagine that I wanted to try to make a business. I'm role playing. Imagine if I was making deals with fucking PMCs. Imagine if they added VoIP or something. There is a world in which someone could legitimately end up with bajillions of rubles if they were convincing people to give them stuff, but there was no money being transferred.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
So, or like imagine when Pestily back in the day was like collecting $1 bajillion, or maybe it was Willers who wanted to get $1 billion. I forget exactly, but like there are valid use cases where people aren't RMTing, where the numbers might be kind of sketchy. I'm sure it's like not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And there were times where I wanted to be I wanted to build 50, guns of a certain build, put them up for sale and be like the gun builder shop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and be like a trader on the flea market with.
Yeah.
But like, you do that smartly, you could make infinite money in a game where it's digital fake money,
But all these restrictions are only in raid. You know what I mean? Like you can have more than 2 Sturman keys. You can't just have more than 2 at a time in raid.
But what about on your character? Like, can you control click it into your backpack?
Oh, maybe not.
In your stash? Like you can't put 2 backpacks on you.
Yeah. I guess it is
like
that way.
You can't control click a stack of money.
No, because you can only have 200,000.
So it's so fucking annoying if you have a bunch of stuff at the bottom. I usually just control click and then control click and it basically teleports it. Well, you can't do that anymore.
Yep.
So now you have to take your money case and put it like in your backpack and then scroll down. Yeah.
Which it feels like all of those things would be better just as a check before you go into a raid. So like I can gear up, I can click on the lab and I can click next, and that's the moment it looks for the key card and says you don't have a key card. Like I wish it would just do that. You know what I mean? I click customs, I click next, and it goes, you have too much money. back out. I was like, oh, I forgot, because then it gives me, you know what I mean? When you're in your stash, so much of the time your character is just more stash space. It's not, like exactly. If I'm just control clicking all my cache and then control clicking it to the top. So it feels like it would make more sense to just check for those things after I've selected my map and hit next. You know what I mean? It warns me that I'm not healed. It warns me I don't have a lab key card. Just do that then. Let me have my character.
Honestly, I kind of wish that there was just a window that you could open up as like a transfer window.
Yeah.
So that like you can't leave the screen if you still have stuff there. You can't keep anything
there. Yeah, it's
there.
not like stash space.
But like if you have two things, let's say you have a 2x5 stash, a really small one, and you have like 2 shotguns. There's no way you could switch them around unless you have space on your character, right?
Yeah.
But like you should be able to have like some open space there. Like when you clean out your fucking garage, you usually like take everything
outside
and then put everything back in.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I just feel like that would be such a minor thing to like, let me open up a fucking window. But
yeah, so those are some changes that they made that'll hopefully help with RMT. I think 99.9% of the time it won't affect us in raid. The backpack thing definitely affects you out of raid, but they've been tinkering with a whole lot of the weapons and ammos over the past few days. The Val and the VSS both got recoil nerfs, so they have more recoil. The way they worded that in the tweet was so weird. Did you see that? In the tweet they were like, yes, we decreased the increase of or something, and everybody was like, what? But they have more recoil.
Yeah.
Which as just like a, I don't know, as my own personal soapbox with the Val and the VSS, I always just find it interesting because like they had the same stats for 2 years. It's just it's one of those like chasing the tail thing for me. It's like it's so obvious to me that like the Val and the VSS became the meme when they added it to the Raider loot pool and the Scav loot pool. And since that was like one change that blew it up. And since then, we've nerfed the ammo, we've increased the price by triple, and now we've increased the stats. Why didn't we just remove it from the Raider loot pool and the Scav loot pool, or like decrease it by a factor of 10?
I probably did that too, because I've only seen a couple of Vals and VSSs.
Maybe.
It's this whole patch.
So. And maybe they did do that, and it's all just riding the wave of the meme at this point, and they're really not that common anymore. But it's just interesting to me that it's like you did X and that caused Y, and to fix Y, instead of undoing X, we'll just do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. It's like, what?
Yeah, and then what they did was take something else, the MP7, and essentially it was already viable.
Yes.
And they buffed FMJ and AP.
AP shreds now.
I mean, it shredded before.
It did.
And FMJ was a sleeper. It was like SP5, where you could. I would go into labs and I'd wreck Alton boys and shit with SP5 and also with FMJ. And that was another one of those 118 ruble infinite rounds.
Because of the fire rate of the gun, 950 rounds per minute. That's faster than the Val.
Mark my words, in a couple of weeks, MP7 Gamer is going to be the new meta, and everybody's going to be reading about it, and they're going to need to have it nerfed, and then they're just going to nerf it into the ground.
I tweeted that the day they made those changes. I said, I hope that the MP7 doesn't suffer the same fate. And everybody it seemed like everyone was excited because it was like, yes, now something else to use other than the Vals, but it's like, you're just like, that you're going to be excited for that for 3 days, and then you're going to die to 11 MP7s in a row, and you're going to start reading about that too. But I'm one of those few people that
wishes that all of the guns in the game had basically, including like 9mm guns, including the 45 caliber. Like I wish that they all basically had the same sort of effective time to kill. Either, maybe they're high flesh damage, high armor damage, low pen, or high pen, high flesh damage, but like low armor, like some combination of the three to make them all sort of balanced out, because then you'd see people using all the guns.
All the guns, yeah.
But instead now it's just the same. It's either a fucking AK-74 or an HK or an M4 and like it's just they want to add all the guns in the world to the game, and it's like cool, but 7 of them are going to be viable. Yeah. So why would anybody use any of the other ones? Oh well, because we'll just make them prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, and that comes all the way back to the realism conversation, and almost everybody, it feels like, you know, can't decide what they want. You know what I mean? Like if we, you know, in the past, like we've talked about, it's like, you know, like when we talked about like the Mosin, you know what I mean? And it's like, as soon as you start talking about like, man, like that thing, it's so cheap, you shouldn't be able to one tap people. Everybody's like, well, it's a sniper rifle, it's a big round, you know, do you know the diameter? Do you know how many grains of gunpowder are in that thing? It goes this speed. And it's like, yes, that's very true. Okay, it should one click everything. And then they die to a Mosin and they're like, oh my God, meta. And it's like, yeah, it's like, because in real life, if I'm going out there, like I'm never bringing a 9mm gun, you know what I mean? I'm bringing a big caliber. And so it's like, you kind of have to pick what you want. You know what I mean? If we want more than 4 guns to be like viable, then we have to balance the time to kill across the weapons. If we want realism, expect to die to the meta weapon every time.
Yeah.
You have to choose one or the other. You know what I mean? You can't have both. It's interesting stuff for sure. And speaking of the Mosin, that got a nerf too. They nerfed the accuracy, and I haven't played with the Mosin since, but I've talked to some people that said they can feel it.
When was that? That wasn't today.
No,
that was a few days ago.
I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah.
I didn't have any issues with the Mosin, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
how noticeable it was, but I didn't notice anything.
Yeah.
But now you're forced to use a more expensive and worse gun for like 17 quests. For 17 quests in a row. They should change it to sniper rifle and not Mosin.
I agree.
And then because you know what, I've been using the DVL, the silenced DVL, even though it costs like $100K. It's one of my new favorite guns.
I love
actually.
it.
Just a.
Yep.
Speaking of, I have to fucking say this, dude. I have to say this. I got in 4 hours. I got 4 Shooterborn in Heaven kills.
Dang.
I got 2 on customs and 2 on shoreline. And the one I got on shoreline, it was like 200 meters away, and it was like a guy off in the distance, and I just went, pop, dropped him.
That's amazing.
And then the next one, I was on the 2nd floor in the resort, and I heard somebody running out, like past the fence along along that path in the grass.
Oh yeah.
Where you have to plant the thing.
Yep.
So I hear him and I'm like, oh shit. So he's running towards like the helicopter. And I'm in the wing on the right, if you're looking like with the water on your back.
Okay.
The east wing, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm looking like at him, and I'm like trying to hop, like side hop onto the ledge, and I couldn't. And all the time he's running away, he runs past the helicopter, and I go whoosh over the ledge and land, both legs blacked, see the guy, pop him in the back of the head, 124 meters. Like 27 attempts just gave me long enough for him to get far enough away to get it.
Because if you had made it, you would have hit him at like 90 meters and you would have been so pissed.
Dude, today was the day just full of unfucking believable Shooterborn in Heaven kills. And I was using all sorts of different guns too, so it wasn't even the same gun.
That's what's great about the Shooterborn in Heaven is like if you have an 8R with a Valde and you hit a nasty shot, it counts. If you are using any sort of sniper. Yeah, I haven't like attempted that quest yet. I've gotten 2 kills naturally. I got one the other day. I was in the on the pier on shoreline up where the safes are in the room. There's like a safe and a computer on either side. And I was looking out and I saw way out there this tiny little speck running along the beach. I think he was gonna go plant his SVD. And dude, I was just like, I shot at him like 17 times. It wasn't like a crispy one tap, but I finally hit him. It was like 350 meters. I was like, yes, and it counted. So
is it one of those things you get the kill and you instantly pull up the task,
instantly
scroll down, click on Shooterborn in Heaven?
Instantly, yeah, it was great.
The third one is always good because you get the little.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's so.
I wish
satisfying.
you did that for all of them.
Yep, it's so satisfying because you just know you hit it. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'll have clips up for that soon. Or maybe at the end of this, once we're done recording, I can I'll pull them up so you can see, because I've got some crazy shots from today.
That's dope. Another big thing that happened to the game was the reserve expansion. That was like a really cool surprise. Like that was a feels good. He said,
oh, so fucking unexpected.
Yeah, and it was so cool because he was alluding to it. He was like, I have 2 new Prapor quests that are super exciting. He kept saying that, and it was like,
when did he say that? I missed it.
It was on the team podcast he came on. He was like, Nikita or Pesley was asking about 12.7, 12.6.2.
Was it the one that I wasn't on?
Yeah, the one you weren't on. And he was like,
gotcha.
He was like, I've got 2 new quests. So he's like, he said they were like super exciting or something, and I was like, how exciting can a quest be? Like the quests right now aren't, you know what I mean? And then it's just like, go to the bunker on reserve. So you're like, oh, sweet. And you just go and you're like, what's this? And it's huge, dude. And there's raiders down there, and there's a new extraction, and there's new keys, and there's a new marked room. So it was cool. I heard some people saying the update was only like 80 megabytes. So a lot of people were thinking that it was there the whole time, just locked behind doors. Like, but
oh fuck, can you imagine if like some of the frame rate and performance was just like all this unrendered
stuff,
bullshit?
Yeah. So but
nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. That was just like a feels good for the game, because it was just like unexpected. It really does add a lot to the map, like another extraction, which is cool. More raider spawns, just like more places to be, more ways to traverse the map, you know what I mean? From underneath, you can get to any of those major buildings on that side, which feels good. So it was cool.
Yeah, I still need to learn the layout.
Same.
To me, it's like every other new place. I recognize this location. Great. You walk around and you're like, I recognize all these places, but my mental map is so just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, but now I'm at this other place I recognize. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to wander around until I get to, there's one area where all of a sudden it's like just the metal floor that's all opened up, where I think that's the old part.
Yeah.
With like a metal staircase and then like a bunch of doors. I just wander until I get there.
Yep.
And that's but I don't know. I bet you it's probably like a fucking octagon or something super simple.
Once we get
I need to just look at I need to look at a map. I'm sure there's already a bunch of maps. I need to look at it, because then I'm sure it'll make a lot more sense.
Sure.
Everybody's like, oh, you're under White Pawn, and I'm like, fucking no.
What?
Did you see the clip with me and Clean? Did you see that clip from back in the day? It's one of my favorite clips of all time. It was Clean basically going, we're up by the radar station.
Oh, okay.
Just sitting there like sniping, right? We're just looking, and he's like, oh, it's someone over by White Pond. I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know the call outs. He goes, okay. And it's like, you can just picture this zooming in on my face while he's like, that over there is White Pond, and this one over there is Black Pond. If you look over there, that one's blah, 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 for like 10 minutes. And you just see me kind of go, like, are you guys writing this down? Like looking at chat, like, and I'm just going,
He's like,
yep.
Okay, so.
And then at the end, I was like, he just stopped, and I'm like, sick, cool, great, thank you, good to know. And I'm like, I didn't get fucking any of that. Oh yeah, that's
so
the
shoot the
right
guy
there.
on White Pond, shoot him. And you're like,
and I'm like,
start shooting. Oh, I keep missing.
So I'm running around trying to like, there's like 2 minutes left, and I've got like 9 juicy dudes worth of gear over the last couple of days, and they're like, yo, you're right under White Pond. Does that help? No, I don't even know what that is, let alone I'm under, because I don't know where to go. Like, fuck. Oh,
it's cool. We'll
figure it out though.
It's cool. It's super exciting.
For sure.
They added you started writing this earlier, which I had. They tweeted out, I think it was yesterday, all this stuff upped the global loot spawn chances by approximately 30%. Flea market fees by 20. They lowered that, which okay. They changed a lot of the types of and this is all vague stuff. I haven't played in the past few days because I was out of town, so changed the types of purchase item by traders, rebalancing buying prices, and up skill progression. Is there anything from you playing over the last few days that you've noticed up the global loot spawn chance? Is that just for everything?
I really don't know. I looked in a lot of places and I didn't really see anything noteworthy anywhere, but like 30%. Okay, so when you open up like a drawer, that means that there's like a 1 in 3 chance of maybe getting one more bulb. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like
I don't.
it's really I don't have a big enough sample size
exactly.
to know.
Does
what
that mean
F that means.
all the LEDX spawns on Shoreline have a 30% chance? Like I was thinking that for high tier loot is like, or is it just like, because I know it seems to me that like 310 on Shoreline's a great example. I've looted that room 20 times and I think I've only found anything. I'm talking chainlet gold chain, maybe like 4 times the total.
Most of the time it's completely empty.
Just completely empty. So maybe it's not affecting what the chance of a specific item, but just like, you know, it felt like 310 just had a 60% chance to just not spawn anything. So maybe now it's like, well, now it's only got a 20% chance to not spawn anything, but you don't know what's going to spawn. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, fuck.
But
I don't know.
But yeah, and then they were talking a lot about, like, I have a tweet pulled up from them, like the traders buying prices were decreased. It was a bug related to the incorrect price calculation, which led to many related bugs. Again, there were serious bugs in sell price calculation. Base prices can and will be corrected, especially with dynamic prices later. It just sounds like vendors buy stuff for less. Is that what I'm supposed to be taking away from that?
So like if you go and you try to sell like a GP coin, how much did GP coin sell to Therapist? Do you remember?
I think it was around 30K, but I'm not sure.
Now it's like 19.
Okay.
No, it's 21. I think like the fuel conditioner was a good one. Then it used to be like 94 or something. Now I heard last it's like 60.
Okay.
Or something like that. But again, that might have changed. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what else. I don't have anything that I remember.
Yeah. So
I remember. So now I'm trying to figure out, because like I've got a Tetris, and I'm like, I see the Tetris going for sale for like 120. I'm like, I could do the trade for Bitcoin, but I don't know how much the trader will buy it for me. But if I try to sell it for 120 to Therapist, or if I try to sell it to Therapist, she'll give me 72. So it's like, is the Bitcoin worth more? I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of weirdness, and of course all my fucking videos are all out of date. So
yeah,
screw that.
That's interesting. I mean, it's like it's unsurprising, because we know that they want to slow down, you know, how the making money. So I guess it's not surprising, but the whole fact that it was like bug related was interesting. I don't know if that means, I don't know why they want
to slow it down.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of people that have a lot of issues and a hard time.
And this wipe, it felt good. This wipe, it felt like you could really make money doing anything. You could make money PvEing, because scavs are like safes now. You can make money PvPing, maybe not end game. You know, we've talked about that before, but you know, if you're just running around with your tier 3 armor and you shoot a few people, you can make money. You can make money not doing either, just hitting caches or stashes or looting parts of the map. You could, you know, it like there. So it does feel a little strange, I guess, that they're trying to slow it down now, because it felt, this wipe, at least for me, felt like the best it had ever felt. Like you really aren't like locked into one way to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I always, if I think about like the way that I play, I don't know, like a lot of folks seem to think that, but I guess maybe it's just because I'm a content creator that I must play 90 hours a week and I'm like the biggest Chad ever or whatever. But like, I see myself as a fairly average player who's like a gamer.
Yeah.
Like someone who, like, I want to be good. I want to get better.
Yeah.
I'm not just like someone who's going to play and I don't care. You know, it's not like I have a few dad gamers that are like, they'll play with me, but they're like level 3 and they've been, you know, playing for like a month or something, where I'll get level 5 in the first raid.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I don't min-max pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I don't power level anything. I like fights, but I also like try to get, you know, decent gear and decent loot. I don't like rush through anything. And I find that I've been able to stay somewhere between like 100 and a million, 100,000 rubles and a million. And then as soon as I get up to a million, it's like, well, now I can upgrade one thing in my hideout, and now I'm back to broke. I can do a bunch of fights, sell some things, upgrade, you know, and it's like, that to me feels like, honestly, it kind of feels like what Nikita wants, which is I'm not getting rich.
Yeah. But
I'm
always
just playing the
making money.
game normally.
Yeah.
You know,
like there's a healthy balance of things to buy with that money and ways to make money. And when that balance is correct, you never end up with 60 million rubles, but you're also not like Hatchet running 17 raids in a row because you just can't make money. And I
haven't done.
I felt
yeah.
that.
Sorry about that.
Well, no, yeah, I felt that exact same way throughout the wipe so far. Like, yeah, I stay around 1 to 2 million. If I get too far up, I'll buy a bunch of hideout upgrades. If I get too far down, I'll cool it and just play some raids. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got level 47. I've got 480 raids. My survival rate's 32%, which I think is pretty fucking average. My KD is 5, which I think is pretty fucking average. Back in the day, it used to be 80%, and my KD was 30 when back in point 6 and 0.7.
Yeah.
My win streak was in the 30 to 40 area.
Jeez.
Just running factory all over. You know, it was just winning constantly.
Yeah.
That's when the time to kill was much higher. But like, the thing is that I never do money runs. The only time I've ever gone low gear, it's when I'm fucking annoyed with having to get like Mosin scav kills. So I'll just grab a Mosin and go woods, and it's like I don't need anything other than LPS and some meds in my, because I just don't want to be in my stash. It's not that I'm trying to like do a money run. I'm just sick of doing it, and I don't want to keep burning through gear.
Same. This is the first wipe I haven't done so far, an intentional money run where I just like go to reserve and try and scoop up military loot. But I do the same thing. There's if you die 14 times in a row, you just like, I'm just gonna bring a 5.7 and no armor or a Mosin. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean it's felt really good. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how much of those changes and stuff like that are actually felt, and how much is just like kind of arbitrary numbers that don't really, you don't really feel.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's about it. We had Glukar spawn rate increase from 31 to 41%, which I'm excited about because I have to do that stupid quest where I kill him. So I'm fine with him being around more.
Just finally did that.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I mean, that's about it for, I mean, as far as things that I have that have been changed over the past few weeks. Most of the stuff isn't overwhelmingly negative. I mean, we talked about some of the like buffs and nerfs to the guns feel frustrating, but it just kind of feels like that's the way that they're going to go for a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're significant enough that like I haven't noticed them, so I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
The next time I miss a Mosin shot that I clearly should have hit, and then I watched the replay back and realized that I really should have hit it, because most of the time I'm like, that should have hit, and then I watched the replay back and I'm like,
100%. I did it all the time.
I was actually a little bit behind, or I was a little bit ahead. Now, if that happens, and it's like, that's gonna feel shitty, because now I don't trust my gun.
Yeah.
What's the point of using it? Now it's just RNG in the fucking game that's
I've always been
skill based.
Yeah, the whole accuracy thing. It's like, shouldn't accuracy just be where I point my mouse?
Now I can see the durability. So like, actually this is an interesting conversation to have too, because Nikita talked about like jams and stuff that are going to be coming in the game, and fucking people freaked out.
Yeah. And they will freak out.
I think that it's one of those things that if you have a gun that gets down below like 20% durability and you start to see issues like that, it makes sense, because that's just like you not changing your oil in your car after 20,000 miles or something, and you're supposed to do it every 8,000 or whatever. Like, it's just one of those things, like it's something you should pay attention to, and it'll happen to you rarely. And when it does, it might make for an interesting moment, where like, if you're a scav, I think scavs should spawn in with broken armor and a gun at some random.
I agree. Yeah.
That to me is fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Or if you happen to survive a bajillion raids in a row with this one gun, or you pick up a gun that's been through some shit.
Yeah.
That's when something's gonna fail. If you buy a gun from Mechanic, brand new one, and you like, that shouldn't fucking jam on you.
No, I agree.
So it all depends on how it gets implemented.
Yeah.
The Mosin or any other gun, in my opinion, should be accurate for gameplay purposes, fuck realism.
Yeah.
For gameplay purposes, otherwise
I
the
agree.
game just feels like it feels like you're playing rock paper scissors.
Yes.
But it's rock paper scissors with a coin flip.
Yeah, it's rock paper scissors. Yeah, exactly. It's like you're playing rock paper scissors with the game.
I won, but I didn't.
Yeah, with the game and the player at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I clicked. Did he move? No. Did the game let me hit my shot? Also no. Okay, let me shoot
was it
again.
Accuracy? Was it netcode?
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it desync? Was it,
Yeah.
you know, it's just so many things that now you're questioning.
Yeah.
The game doesn't need more things for you to think that the game is the reason why you lost.
Yeah. But I agree exactly where it's like there's a cool mechanic there where it's like, man, me and this Mosin have been through 17 raids and I need to repair it or else it's going to start, crapping out on me. That's a cool mechanic. Or the same with the scavs, right? That they're just picking up random guns and stuff, but not if I buy something straight from a trader, gear up and want to go use it.
Now imagine if maybe the accuracy might go down a little bit as the durability, but imagine, and this is complete bullshit and they'd never do it, but if I make a game, I'm going to do this, where the longer you have a gun for, the more it feels like your gun in your hands, and it performs like you get ergo boosts every additional raid you take something in, it gets like an ergo boost. It might be less accurate, but then when you repair it, the accuracy will go up. But because you're only gonna fucking take that Mosin in like 3 times before you die max, right?
Yeah.
But imagine you are on like a 30 win streak with this one Mosin, or you get it back in insurance a bunch. Like, it should have a fucking buff. That would be
that
so
would
sick.
Actually be kind of cool. Something, yeah.
This is my rifle. There are others like it, but this one is mine.
Something like ergo or something that's not like, it's not going to turn it into a laser beam, but it just, it just feels extra snappy and just feels good. That would be actually kind of cool. I would be down with that.
Yeah, well, I've already gotten, I'm sure, a hate tweet, something posted on Reddit about it, and probably a death threat in my Instagram DMs.
Terrible idea. But yeah, that's
interesting time in Tarkov.
Yeah, it is an interesting time in Tarkov for sure. For sure.
Let's see. We don't know anything about Doc.
Yeah.
Still don't know why he's banned. I haven't looked in the last 48 hours. I assume that nothing's fucking come out.
Yeah, nothing really.
Well, I guess we'll keep y'all updated. Now we're a streamer news.
This is
just a streamer news the streamers deloaded podcast where we talk about all the latest streamer drama. Have you heard about this streamer calling out this streamer for being I couldn't make anything ridiculous up.
Crazy.
I couldn't make anything up.
Yeah.
Without probably accidentally offending somebody.
Yeah, of course.
And then I played Hyperscape today. That was.
How'd that feel?
I mean, it's a good game. It's a game where it's like Apex, where I look at it and I say it's a good game. It runs well. I just don't. I was thinking about Tarkov and Valorant while I was playing it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, honey. You're thinking about, oh my God, can you imagine the meme picture where I'm like sitting in front of my computer and like Hyperscape is snuggled up next to me and I'm rolled over with Battle Buddy, like
looking at the ammo changes.
But he's thinking about the ammo change. He's thinking about Tarkov. I just it was fun to play. And I got an opportunity to be on the front page of Twitch,
which is awesome.
Which was fucking great. I mean, like, never before have I gone live and instantly gotten 10,000 viewers. Before. I'm sure I haven't looked at my numbers or anything yet. I'm sure I got some new follows and it was some nice exposure. Once I was off the front page, it was like from 10,000 or 11,000 down to like 4,000, and then all of a sudden I didn't kill anybody. We played for 2 hours. I didn't get a single kill.
Wow.
The time to kill is fucking astronomical. There was one point where I had like a double leveled up LMG, and I was like every shot hitting, and the guy's health was like half, and it was like. It just feels so bad.
Yeah. I was watching a little bit after you hopped off with some other people just to check it out, and it felt like the time to kill was really long.
there's a couple guns that just tear people up.
Yeah.
That I'm sure there's like a meta, but people are saying it sounds like COD or this and that. It's the longest time to kill. Like Halo feels faster.
Yeah.
Halo fell faster. But I'm sure that like if you min-max it and you level everything up and everything, you could probably take people down a lot faster. And I just played shittily, but there was just so much going on. It was so fast. And we didn't know. We were supposed to have had an hour to practice, and we didn't even get a chance to do one thing just because I was so busy trying to figure out, download the game, last minute changes and stuff. So it looks cool. They have, I'm under NDA, so there's a bunch of stuff I can't really say. And also I'm not sure where those boundaries are.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some cool integrations with Twitch, with the community, with viewers being able to interact and or play with streamers.
That's cool.
But yeah, I can't get into super any more details. It seems interesting. I don't know if I'll ever play it again.
Yeah cool thing to experience, to try out, but you know, it's another BR. Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Do we have anything else?
I think that about covers it. Lots of cool changes. Like I said, I was out of town for a few days, so I'm excited to get into Tarkov, to run underground and reserve in an offline raid and learn where everything is, and
just go online, dude. Fuck it.
Just bro, my survival rate on reserve is like 7%.
So is mine, and I've survived, I think, 8 out of 10 raids, and I've gotten multiple like juicy squad kills. It didn't feel like shit. It didn't feel desyncy. It didn't feel framey.
Well, then maybe we'll just hop in online.
It felt nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, no, I think that's good. There's lots of cool stuff happening in Tarkov. 12.6.2. Hopefully 12.7 is soon around the corner with the customs expansion. So yeah.
A streamer item with 12.7.
Oh, that's right. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so that's coming out. But yeah, I know we're gonna be doing a few different things we talked about last time, where we're gonna be posting the videos up on Jesse's channel, and it's probably going to be better than what I was able to do anyway, because I suck at all the things. But yeah, again, like, this is the obligatory. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, send PayPal donations directly to Jesse's PayPal. All those things. Oh, and a quick random shout out to One Peg, because he just had his.
Oh yeah.
I think it was 4 or 5 days ago. The birth of his new baby daughter, I believe. Right, it was a daughter.
Yeah. Super huge congrats, man. That's good times.
Congrats. My heart goes out to you for just the lack of sleep you're gonna get.
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Better you than me.
Well, thank you guys so much for checking it out. If this is your first time, this is a weekly show. We do it every week. We're a little wonky, like he was saying. We're with the posts. The last week's will be posted tomorrow. I got getting everything, and then we'll get back kind of on a more strict schedule and get everything more consistent for you guys on my channel. But thank you guys so much for taking the time, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.